Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be identifying syntactic categories. For starters, let's go with fairness, which I have classified as a noun. The first test that I've used to determine whether it was what it was is morphology. And the way that fairness is formed is fair, which is an adjective, and then you add the suffix ness to make fairness, which is a noun. You can also do this with numb and nice, both of which are adjectives. Add the ness and to make numbness and niceness, and those are nouns. Next, through substitution, if I replace fairness with other nouns, such as equality and decency, it works. Can thwart justice and equality, can thwart justice and decency. Both of those work. However, replace with adjectives, equal and honorable, it no longer makes sense. And replace with verbs, can thwart justice and to be fair and to be equal, that also does not work. So given both of those, fairness is a noun. Thwart. I have classified thwart as a verb via syntax and substitution. Thwart follows the modal verb can, which is followed by other verbs. Direct objects need verbs. The direct object in this case is justice and fairness. And then can alone does not take the direct objects. It needs the thwart with it to be able to answer can thwart what? And that would be justice and fairness. So thwart is a verb. Through substitution, if we replace thwart with stop and halt, which are also verbs, still makes sense. They're synonyms for thwart. However, replace thwart with a noun, such as tear. No. Can tear justice and fairness? That doesn't make sense. And then the adjective joyful. Can joyful justice and fairness? That also doesn't make sense. So given substitution and syntax, thwart is a verb. Next up, we have human, which I have classified as an adjective, and I've done that via the tools of substitution and morphology. So while human can be a noun, in this context, the main noun is passions, as the original irrational human passions. Through substitution, I have used three other adjectives: animalistic, humanistic, and political, and all of those work. However, using the determiners the and her, irrational the, her, passions doesn't work. Replacing them with verbs, read or write, that also doesn't work. And then replacing with the nouns phone and nickel also does not work. And through morphology, if human were a noun, you would be able to add the inflectional plural marker s to make it humans, but irrational humans passions doesn't make sense. To human and to humaned also doesn't work, even though I have heard people say I human today or I didn't human today. And also human can't replace the or a, which are determiners. So given both substitution and morphology, human in this context is an adjective. Next up, we have our as a determiner. And through syntax and the proper order in a noun phrase is determiner, which is a possibility, doesn't have to be there, adjective, which is another possibility, and a noun. So what I've done is this incorrect phrase here, I put our into the adjective slot. That does not work. The our government does not work. So our is a determiner because it is not an adjective. Through substitution of his, her, its, their proves that it is a determiner because you can't do dance government, which is a verb, preview government, which is a verb as well. You can't do that. Dance up here is the noun. Sorry, it can be both. And then you can say historic current government, but does not mean the same thing. So our is a determiner. Through is a preposition. So you can replace, using substitution, into and out of the Judiciary Committee, those make sense. However, replace it with a noun, book, the Judiciary Committee, sing, the Judiciary Committee with a verb, and readable, the Judiciary Committee with an adjective, that also doesn't work. With morphology, a sign of a preposition is a word that is fixed and cannot receive affixes. You can't say re-through or through'd or throughs via the prefix of re or the suffixes ed or s. So given the substitution test in morphology, through is a preposition. Lastly, lash out against is the phrasal verb that I chose. And like many phrasal verbs, it can be replaced with one verb, attack. So we resist diversity and even attack others like ourselves means the same thing. And we resist diversity and even lash out against others like now I don't know why I included that, so we'll just disregard that, sorry. In morphology, lash out against functions like other verbs because you can say lashed out against to make past tense or make subject-verb agreements such as he lashes out against others or they lash out against others. So given both the substitution test and morphology, lash out against functions as a phrasal verb.